Hi everyone, Ben Burgess here from Esri UK. Today I'm going to show you how you can georeference a image or a PDF of a map in ArcGIS Pro. Now for this demonstration I'm going to georeference a historical map of Sheffield here. So if I just head into my browser, you'll see that I found a historical map of Sheffield on the National Library of Scotland. You can see here that it was published in 1855, so a pretty old map. Now I'm just going to choose an area of interest here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I happen to know this part of Sheffield pretty well, so I'm just going to set that as my extent and then hit download PDF, and it will download a PDF map of this extent view. Now to bring it into ArcGIS Pro, I can just drag it from my downloads here and then drop it into the contents pane of ArcGIS Pro and let it do its thing for 1 second. There we go. And then I'm going to keep everything the same for now, just as default. That all looks good to me. I'll hit OK. Now it's added it to the map, and you'll see that we do have a warning in the top right here, and it says that there's unknown coordinate system and the map data source is missing. And we'd expect that because, again, this is just a PDF of a map that we've just brought into Pro, so there are no coordinates attached to the map just yet. You see this been added to the contents pane, but we can't see it yet. So to show you where it's gone, I'm going to right click on the layer. I'm going to hit zoom to layer. And so now we can see the map. And if I zoom out, we'll see where it's been placed. And you can see that the map has been put just in the ocean off the west coast of Africa here. So the reason for that is that this is where coordinates x0 and y0 meet. And so when something is non-georeferenced and doesn't have coordinates, it will be placed here. So to bring it back to Sheffield, that's the first thing we want to do. So let's go over to Sheffield. And to do that, we want to start our georeferencing process. So I'm going to hit the imagery tab. And here I can see that we have our georeference tool. So I'm going to open that. You see, once I've opened it, we do get a new kind of tab with a whole display of tools across the top here. We have a prepare section, which is for preparing our georeferencing. So doing those big kind of moving the map into the display and scaling it and resizing and rotating. Then we have adjust. And so this is where we really hone in on the accuracy of the georeferencing. So we'll be adding control points. And then we have review, and that's for assessing the quality of our georeferencing. And then we save, it's for save and exporting. And then we have the option to close if you want to give up, I guess. So first thing I want to do is bring our map into Sheffield. So we're here in Sheffield, and now I can just easily bring it into our display by clicking this fit to display. And as you see, the map has been very conveniently just brought in Sheffield. But it is still definitely not aligned to the features within Sheffield. So we're going to want to move it a little bit. So I'm going to hit this move button. And now I can actually drag and so here we go. So I know Sheffield pretty well. I know that this old Great Dam here is in Crooks Valley Park still. So we can move it approximately there. And that's okay. We do need to rescale it now. So I'm going to hit the scale and I'm going to drag it down a bit, zoom back in, drag it down, get it to approximately the same scale, and then we're going to have to move it again. Maybe I can do a tiny bit of more rescaling, size it down just a smidge. And that should do for now. So that's about as accurate as we need it in this prepare stage. So now we're going to move on to the next stage of our georeferencing, which is adding control points. And this will tie features from the historical map to features on the base map to kind of make it match up a bit better and have it a bit more accurate. So for that, I'm going to click add control points. So what I want to do here is I want to identify features which are in the historical map and are also in our current base map. So you'll see that if I turn this off, you'll see that a lot of the features, the main features you can see there have gone. A lot's changed. We no longer have this dam here, but there are quite a few roads that still exist. And as I say, there is this old Great Dam here, which still exists as well. So I'm going to turn this off one more time to try and see a road which I think still exists. So I've identified this road here. So I'm just going to click the control point, and then I want to attach it to my base map. So I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to hit approximately the same area there. And then when I turn it back on, you can see that the map has kind of been moved to be aligned with that point of interest. Let's have a look. What's the other one? Okay, I can see that there's another road here which exists in our current base map. So I'm going to click on the corner there, and then I'm going to drag it and click it there. And then when I turn it back on, we'll see that it's now been aligned. And so essentially we want to go through a process of adding really as many as reasonably possible control points to make it as accurate as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to skip this video along so you don't have to watch me do all of this. Okay, perfect. So we're back, and here you can see that I've added about 10 different control points across my map area, and I have just sort of stuck to using roads as the consistent features. And as good practice, it's a good idea to try and have the control points as evenly spread out across the map as possible. Now, if we head under the transformation tab, we can have a scroll through and have a look at different transformations we might want to use. Now, as a general rule of thumb, if you are only reshaping, stretching, or rotating your map, then first order polynomial is probably fine. But if you need your raster to be bent, then a second or third order is probably better. And these all have different varying levels of minimum control points. So as you can see, our map would kind of be suitable for a third order based on the number of control points. But if we click on it, it definitely doesn't give us the best fit, so it's not the best choice for us here. In this case, I think the first order polynomial is probably the best fit. And so I'm just going to hit save there. And to kind of get a better idea of how these compare, I'm just going to use the swipe tool. So I'm going to click on my raster layer in the contents pane, and I'm going to go under raster layer, and then I'm going to hit swipe. And this can be a much nicer way of comparing how we've done with our georeference in here. So you can see a lot, that road there, the A57 here, does match up pretty well. And the same for this main road here. And then we have our Crooks Valley Park matching up pretty well with the historical dam. So we've done a pretty good job here. It does align pretty well. And so now we have a georeferenced raster of historical Sheffield. Now the next part of this is maybe we want to digitize some of this map. And so if you'd like to know a bit about how you can digitize features of a map, head into the description of this video and you should find a link to a separate video which will cover that second step of the workflow. Thank you everyone, and see you next time.